Very good. Okay, first of all, I want to thank you all for being here today. Joining me is John Goldoff. John is an entrepreneur in Milwaukee and an inventor. Also joining me is former Milwaukee Alderman Angel Sanchez. And both of them will be speaking very shortly, and joined by a number of concerned citizens here in the city of Milwaukee. My message today goes out to all of the citizens in Milwaukee, but most especially the 20,000 plus who have suffered having their car stolen in the last 2 years, just within the city of Milwaukee. Quite frankly, I cannot believe how much our city has deteriorated in just the last 2 years. And it is unconscionable that we lead the nation in stolen vehicles. We have more stolen vehicles than the city of Chicago, and they are 5 times our size. Few things are more devastating to an individual or to a family than to have their car stolen. Their car is their lifeline to society. It gets them to work every day. It gets the kids to school every day. It takes them shopping. It is their lifeline to society. And yet, we have experienced a horrendous increase in auto thefts in the last couple years that is out of control. That is another epidemic that our city is faced with. And we have heard little or nothing from our current administration on precisely how to deal with that. So with that in mind, today I am proposing a multi-pronged approach that if I am elected Milwaukee's next mayor, I will implement. It is an approach that covers prevention, it covers apprehension, it covers prosecution, and it also covers education. So let me just briefly touch on prevention, and then John will speak at greater detail on the possibilities that exist for prevention. We live in a technologically advanced world. There are wonders that exist within our community that we as a society need to capitalize on to address this out of control stolen vehicle problems, from GPS tracking to other more advanced initiatives that we'll hear about in just a moment. It is essential that we develop this technology and utilize it. And I am proposing working with the private sector to do just that. We want to identify, as an example, all the Kias in the city of Milwaukee. This is the #1 stolen vehicle. We would provide that an owner of a Kia can take their vehicle to a registered installer, and we would install this technology that will essentially prevent their car from being stolen, and that the private sector will help pay for this to offset the cost to our citizens. Time and time again as an alderman, I have proven that the private sector is willing to step up and contribute hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars to a good cause. That currently exists. We need to capitalize on that for this project. Apprehension. Let me say this as loud and as clear as possible. As mayor, I would want to send this message to anyone who is contemplating stealing a vehicle. Don't do it, because your next joyride may end you in jail. As mayor, I would want to create a strike force that takes this issue seriously. I have heard on many occasions people who have had OnStar on their vehicle, they know where their stolen vehicle is. And sadly, the Milwaukee Police Department is or was unwilling to do anything about it. We need this to be a much higher priority for our police department. I would want that strike force to not only consist of Milwaukee police officers, but our suburban counterparts as well. And in addition, the Milwaukee County Sheriff's Department, and if necessary, the State Patrol, to work hand in hand in quickly identifying where these stolen vehicles are and apprehending the individuals responsible. And gangs such as the Kia gang and all of this kind of nonsense, the Kia boys, I think they refer to themselves as, that needs to end and will under my administration. I can assure you of that. They will be apprehended, the 10% of this community that is perpetrating the 90% of our stolen vehicles. Prosecution. I would insist that our district attorneys and our judges hold criminals accountable, appropriately accountable for their crimes. Juveniles and adults alike, I would insist, be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law, and that in addition, attached to their sentence would be that they would pay restitution of $7,000 at least to the victims of their crimes. This is critical that we send a strong message and then back up that message with action, that this simply will not be tolerated any longer. And education. I want to work with as many of our young people as possible to send them a strong message that this kind of activity is not acceptable and is going to end them up in a lot of trouble. I would want to work with our celebrities in Milwaukee, our professional athletes, on public service announcements, not only reaching out to our young people, but also reaching out to our citizens, making them aware that these programs exist and that they can take their vehicles to any number of shops to have this equipment installed. So the education component is also a very important one. So with that in mind, I will at this point call up John Goldoff. John is a local entrepreneur in Milwaukee. He has also invented a device that is phenomenal. And the impetus for this is that vehicle right behind us. Having said that, John, please.
Thank you, Mr. Alderman.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Jonathan Goldoff. I created a company called Johnny Tech that focuses on personal product protection. So mainly we've started with our device, the No-Go. The No-Go is basically a second key that is your phone for your car. So without your key, that is the device and the app, the car won't start. So we can't stop people from breaking your window. We can't stop them from tearing out the column. You know, when we figure that out, we will help you. But for now, this device makes it so when you try to start the vehicle and it's not enabled, it'll just crank and crank and crank and appear to be a vehicle that just won't start. So when time is an issue, when you're stealing cars and you're trying to be quick about it because you don't want to get caught, you're going to spend a minimal amount of time in a car that's not cooperating. You're going to go to the next car, and if that one starts, you're going to steal it. So we created the No-Go, and it is a Bluetooth device that works with Android phones currently. For iPhone, unfortunately, we're still working on development, but we do have a fingerprint sensor that we can put in the vehicle. It works similarly. Without your fingerprint, the vehicle won't start. The way it works is we install it in the vehicle and it shunts some vital system required for your vehicle to start, be it your fuel system, your ignition system, or something else. The way your app communicates is through Bluetooth, and inherently Bluetooth is not that secure. Anybody can pair it to a Bluetooth device, which is the problem I ran into initially. So what I've developed that is unique to my device is a encrypted command setup where the commands sent between the app and the device are encrypted, making it where anybody can connect to the Bluetooth device, but nobody can control it without the unique fingerprint or the unique encrypted command of your device with your app. So it can fit any car. It's not just Kias, not just Hyundais. We can put this in any vehicle. The device, it stays in the state that you put it in. So if you enable it, let's say you want to borrow your car to somebody or you need to take it to the shop, you can leave it enabled and then they can use the vehicle. And then when you get it back, you just resume normal operation. If you were to have a problem at some point, you're out, something happens, you break your phone, we do provide emergency services. We will come out and disable the device for you, and then once you have resolved your issue, we come and we re-enable the device. We want your car to be protected. We don't want these car thieves to be able to keep doing what they're doing. Okay, I had my vehicle stolen, and that's what started everything. You know, I couldn't afford to get it repaired, so at this point you can still start it with a screwdriver, but it has a no-go, so it won't move unless I want it to. That's the basic of the no-go. We have a website, it's nogomke.com. If you go there, you can find out more information and you can book appointments. And then I just wanted to let you guys know, we are also working on a product that is going to protect your catalytic converters. It's in development and we expect it to be out in the next 3 months, where we will be able to hopefully stop people from stealing the catalytic converters, and also have a system of marking the thief so they can be identified if they're happened upon. They will have a marking on them that will say that they have triggered one of these devices. So thank you guys. Johnny Tech. I'm also known as Johnny Bong. I'm a local musician, inventor, and security professional. And again, thank you, Mr. Alderman, and everybody else that's here, and you guys, and especially you guys at home. That's what's important. We're here for you, to help you guys.
Thank you. Here you go, John. Thank you, John, very much. The point here, folks, is this. Technology exists. We, as a local government, need to take advantage of that and think outside the box on how we are dealing with ongoing problems that have gotten so far out of control, there doesn't seem to be a way out. Well, there is a way out with the right leadership in the city of Milwaukee. Having said that, I want to bring up my former colleague, former City of Milwaukee Alderman, Angel Sanchez. Angel.
Thank you very much, everyone, for being here. Yet again, we're faced with another crisis here in the city of Milwaukee. Our kids deserve a quality education, and these kids that are stealing cars, they are good kids. They're not just another statistic, but they need guidance, they need mentorship, and they need employment. When Bob Donovan becomes mayor, we will work with everyone in this community. The ministers, the parents, the businesses. We will find solutions that are practical, that are real, and we'll get these kids to become homeowners, good jobs, and parents if they like to be parents. For far too long in our city, so many problems just keep going on and on. In 2 weeks, the people of this great city, once again, will have an opportunity to choose a new path or to continue down the same old road. I'm here with neighbors from all across the city in support of Bob Donovan, who I believe, in my heart, is the best candidate to lead us into the future. Please vote for Bob.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. And now, and thank you, Angel, very much. Now I'd be more than happy to entertain any questions.
Alderman Donovan, how are you going to pay for a task force? I mean, right now, Milwaukee Police already says they're short-staffed, short funding. They don't have enough money to hire. They have to use federal funds to hire officers.
As I said, I believe the task force needs to be what exists in the task force is our suburban counterparts, Milwaukee County Sheriff, Milwaukee Police Department, perhaps a state patrol. But I would also say this, I would reach out to recently retired MPD officers and ask them to come back, most specifically to work on this task force to immediately address this problem. So I believe the resources will be there as long as it is a priority for the mayor. Any other questions?
Where do those resources come from the retired MPD personnel?
Well, there are resources within the Milwaukee Police Department currently. There are funds available. There are also other funds that might be available too, such as ARPA funds and so on and so forth. But I would say this. We have an obligation to address this problem, and we cannot accept excuse after excuse after excuse any longer. The citizens of Milwaukee are demanding some appropriate action, and I believe this is most definitely the route to go. And I will also say this, again, I emphasize our private sector, from insurance companies who have a vested interest in our stolen vehicles to just our philanthropic community in Milwaukee, to just regular business owners who know that this is an important issue. I have proven in my past as alderman that they are more than willing to pay for programs like this. Any other questions?
Have you had any discussions with private sector, with insurance companies to see if they'll pay for that technology that you...
I made 3 calls the other day. 3 calls, and I had a commitment of $20,000. That will give you an indication of who these individuals are. They told me if this comes to fruition, yes, they will commit. One was 10 and 2 others were 5,000. So yes, and that was just 3 calls, and I haven't even been elected yet. If I pick up the phone as the mayor of Milwaukee, believe me, we'll get some commitment. We'll get the involvement.
And those phone calls that you just mentioned, those 3 calls, was that particularly to pay for the new tech that we just talked about, the logo, or the whole proposal?
The whole proposal, yeah. Did you?
This isn't all on Johnson, is it? This upsurge began before he took office.
Pardon me?
This isn't all on Cavalier Johnson, is it? Because some of this upsurge took place before he took office.
Yeah.
Is it
Some of the upsurge has occurred before he took office. Most of it has not occurred during his, it's all occurred during his tenure as the second most powerful man in Milwaukee, the president of the Milwaukee Common Council. I think it's fair to say that he's had plenty of time to meaningfully address this problem. Yes.
What kind of programs are going to be in place for the children to kind of deter them from stealing vehicles? Because we know they get bored and they go out and steal vehicles.
Yeah.
What kind of programs are we put in place to help them?
I certainly have always been an advocate for mentoring programs. I think we do need to expand upon that. As mayor, I certainly would want to do that, getting into our schools, teaching them the right thing. I also feel strongly that we need to, as a community, intervene at a much younger age in some of the lives of our young people, because many are growing up in an environment that simply is not a good environment. Kids need structure, they need love, they need discipline, and far far too many of our kids are not receiving that currently. So those kinds of initiatives need to exist. In addition, I have been a supporter of the proposal for the Juvenile Reception Center in Milwaukee, where we have a myriad of support available for our young people who might be going down the wrong track. And they can be recommended to that reception center teachers, parents, not just the courts can recommend that they go there. So I think it's an excellent program. It's been successful in Portland. I know Alderman Murphy and Alderwoman Coggs are very supportive of it. I would want to see that move forward.
Have any liability in this?
Well, they'd be one of my phone calls, certainly. Yeah. Okay, thank you all so very much. Appreciate it. God bless. Thanks.